Assalamu alaikum viewers. I hope you'll be safe and sound and enjoying your life peacefully with your family. Yesterday there was a seminar on taxation of INGOs in Pakistan, and there were two presentations, and my presentation was about issues and challenging faced by INGOs sectors in Pakistan, its impact on the development of social sector and the common people in Pakistan, and my suggestions for overall improvement. Please stay with me, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, and if you like my video, just press the like button and provide your useful input in form of comments. I would try to respond back. So let's start. You know that international non-governmental organizations are engaged in useful support to the government and the people of Pakistan, mainly in the social areas, the development areas, the welfare activities such as eradication of poverty, civil rights and advocacy, crisis management, social justice, education, health, infrastructure development, financial support to the deserving citizens, and other welfare activities. So in actual, the non-governmental organization or the NGOs provide support to the government in its initiative to provide high quality services to the citizens of Pakistan. Therefore, INGOs, because they provide foreign support, foreign funds, and they spend it in Pakistan, they are very important. So what are the compliance requirements for INGOs especially, and every NGO generally? My presentation will cover the income tax, sales tax and other compliance requirements for INGOs especially. The tax compliance, I will cover both income tax and sales tax. Every INGO needs to get itself registered with the tax authorities, including income tax as well as the sales, both federal as well as the provincial. And after registration, they need to file their tax returns. In case of income tax, they are annual, and in case of sales tax, they are monthly returns which need to be furnished every month. And you know that in case of sales tax, now the organization don't need to file separate tax returns for federal capital as well as various provinces due to the recent introduction of single sale tax return portal, where you can file a single sale tax return for federal as well as the provincial sale tax matters. Then if there is any tax due, INGO or the organization need to pay taxes, and generally because these INGOs don't earn revenues for themselves, so payment of tax is really not the case for NGOs or INGOs. Withholding of taxes, every INGO needs to withhold taxes on their procurements of products as well as services, and this is called their input tax. And you know that as I already told you that because there is no output tax, therefore this input tax is paid to the government, but it is not adjusted. So the cost of services provided by the non-profit organizations is increased because of this input tax. Then INGOs need tax approvals, and this is required under Income Tax Ordinance 2001. And to get this approval, a certification from PCP, that is Pakistan Center for Philanthropy, is required to be obtained, and this is a cumbersome job. It takes around 4 months to 1 year to complete it, and it's a very stringent requirement where all the records, including the previous financial statements, the performance report, activities conducted, and the financial statements of the international NGO in the foreign countries, the head office, as well as audited financial statements, tax withheld, etc. So there is a long list of documents to be attached with this application in order to receive this PCP certification. In addition, there is a fee for every INGO, and that depends upon the number of the amount of fund received by this NGO. Then section 101 of 101C of the section 100C of the income tax ordinance says that NGOs cannot spend more than 15% on administrative expenses, and further there is another requirement in the same section, which is taxation of unspent funds, that if at the end of the year the unspent funds are more than 25%, then they will be taxed at the rate of 10%. So this is another burden. So by the definition of the NGOs or INGOs, the difference between NGOs and INGOs is that NGO is a non-governmental organization or not-for-profit organization, whereas INGO is not-for-profit organization, but it is an international organization working in Pakistan. Then there's a recent change in the budget, last budget, where there was a tax exemption to approved NGOs or INGOs, which has now been replaced as 100% tax credit. What is the difference between the exemption and the tax credit is that exemption means no tax will be payable at all by NGOs or INGOs, whereas the tax credit means that the tax will be computed as per the normal rates, and then 100% credit will be given, provided that the INGO fulfills the requirements as provided in section 100C, some of which I have already explained. Some other requirements is that the NPO should have filed its income tax return as well as sale tax returns if applicable, and it must have withheld the income tax and deposited into the government treasury, etc. So there is a huge long list of the requirements, and which is increasing with every year. So there is a burden of compliance on the social sector or developmental sector. This is not all. There are certain more requirements. One, I told that the certification from Pakistan Center for Philanthropy. Then there are some NOCs or MOU needs to be signed between INGO and the Ministry of Interior and Economic Affairs Division, and in which Ministry of Foreign Affairs are also involved. Then security clearances from all the security agencies, and this is signed for 3 years, and after that it needs to be renewed, and all the formalities needs to be completed once again. Then now there is a requirement of registration with the Charity Commission, which is an additional registration requirement. And then there are some certain requirements of FATF against anti-money laundering, terrorist financing, and other unlawful activities, in addition to the already in force requirements of financial audit every year and annual report on activities performed needs to be submitted to various governmental departments and regulators. This all can be seen with respect to the donor perspective. Why donor donates to the INGO sector? In Pakistan or in Muslim countries, the donation means sadqa khairat or zakat, and this is a sawab or reward is guaranteed from the Allah Almighty. But where there is a non-Muslim contributing for the social activities, so this is a sense. This creates a sense of satisfaction or enjoyment to such donor. And funds, he wants that the funds should reach the ultimate segment of society for which he intends to spend this fund, and any deductions, he doesn't want to make any deductions out of it, because this would mean that the less amount would be left for the social objectives, achievement of the social objectives for which he has donated the funds. So there is no tolerance among donors with respect to tax deductions or tax payments whatsoever. What is the government perspective? Government wants a strict regulation on what an NGO or INGO is doing in Pakistan. They want to make sure that spendings are made on genuine head of accounts and for genuine reasons, and they also want to make sure no personal gains are given or provided to the management of INGO or NGO, and they want to also ensure that no spendings on illegal activities or unlawful activities such as anti-money laundering or terrorist financing, etc., is made by the INGO. And in short, government wants to know what's going on in and inside an organization and what activities they are carrying on. Impacts of overcompliance. This all leads to overcompliance. I think that Pakistan is a country where the compliance requirements are one of the largest in the world. So you know that the compliance causes extra cost to INGO, such as fees and taxes and consultancy costs and administrative cost for these compliances. And due to these reasons, because it becomes very difficult to continue operations because of these restrictions, many NGOs closed in the recent past, and a few of my clients also closed down their operations from Pakistan, and this is a very serious issue, and government should look into such matters. And one of the worst outcome of this is that projects are not completed in time due to the restrictions. A few of INGOs or NGOs have been closed down. Their offices were sealed by the authorities due to inability to make some of the compliances. So the solution, what needs to be done to avoid these problems and making sure that the social activities should continue in the country and the welfare of the common people should continue. So my first suggestion is that the registration should be through one window operation, whether this registration is through Trust Act, the Charity Act, the Companies Act 2017, or Social Societies Act, etc. So it should be done through one single portal or through one window. And another factor which causes burden on the budgets of INGOs is the sales tax which is being charged when they purchase assets or relief goods, etc. So my suggestion is that the there should be zero rated sales tax on suppliers of approved INGOs or NGOs. Then the compliance burden should be minimized, and this can be done by in decreasing the number of compliances and sharing the information among the different regulators. So, for example, single approval NOC MOU, if an NGO is certified by Pakistan Center for Philanthropy, this information should be sufficient for the tax department, for the Ministry of Interior, for Economic Affairs divisions, and any other regulators whatsoever. So this means that one approval should suffice, and no other approvals, NOCs, MOUs should be required at all. And as I told in the earlier part of my presentation, that INGO sector, or especially as well as the general NGO sector, they are helping hands to the government, and because both government and social sector, they work for the betterment of the society, for development, for provision of health, education, and other services. So they must collaborate every year for joint activities. This will ensure that everyone gets the benefit of efforts by the government as well as the NGO sector, and deprived persons get the benefit across the board. So these were some of my suggestions for improvement. The technical part of the presentation was given by Mr. Javed Arif, who discussed every section which is relevant to the implication of sale tax under Punjab sale tax law. I hope this information is valuable for you, and it will add to the knowledge of the viewers. So we'll talk to you again on another topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz. Take care of yourself.